Greetings, family. How are you? It's Empress D. I'm just checking in very briefly today, family. I just wanted to talk very quickly about the fact that I'm starting to believe today, okay, as each day passes and as time passes on, I've kind of been on this journey where I've kind of really been taking a look at the world and making very grave revelations about the planet that we live on. And it's been about 6 years of that, almost 7. And I will say, today is August 19, 2026. And I will say that at this point, I'm starting to think that everything that we see is scripted. Everything that we see is put out there on purpose in order to elicit a certain response and reaction from us. Just that's it. I recognize that human beings are very unique beings within this galaxy. And if you're at the stage where you don't believe that there's life outside of human beings on planet Earth, then I don't know that this message is for you. However, you're welcome to listen, but I'm speaking I'm speaking with the assumption that we know that there's life outside of, there's other living entities other than human beings, and there's life outside of this planet. However, so humans are very unique because we feel. We have something called emotions, and what emotions are, they're energy in motion. Energy in motion. So our feelings, our energy, our emotions are such a rare commodity within this galaxy, and so valuable to other entities that do not have the capacity for that. And it's sad to say that some entities even feed on it, and it's a parasitic kind of thing because they can't produce it, so they use ours, right? Human beings are creative beings, and we're creative beings because we feel and we have emotions, right? And that's a rarity. And so with that knowledge, those that orchestrate things on this planet, they want to make sure that they are controlling the type of emotions that the majority of us experience most frequently. And that's why they're in the interest of putting and controlling everything that's put out there in the media. And that, when I say media, I mean mainstream media and alternative media at this point. I think at this point, most of it is somewhat controlled. And what another element that's happening now is that there's a lot of confusion, and it's almost an oversaturation of information, and people don't know what to. It's just a hot mess right now. But don't think that those that control the media, basically, right? Whether it's the mainstream media or the alternative media, because those that control the mainstream media also control the alternative media because they're the owners, right? And when you keep looking up the chain, so everything that's put out there is allowed, okay, family? And what they push is what they want you to believe. And I learned that from, anyway, family. My whole point is this. What do you do with that information? What do I do with the realization? And I've been doing this for the last few years very slowly, and I'm trying to apply it in every area of my life, is no attachments, right? So let's give an example, whether the earth is round or whether the earth is flat I'm not attached to either reality, right? Whether it's flat or round, I'm not attached to. I'm happy if the earth is round. I'm happy if the earth is flat. But I'm going to be honest and say that I lean more towards that the earth is flat. Flat as opposed to round, only because that's the opposite of what they teach us, right? They showed us the globe, so I know that they try to trick us, so I tend to believe that what is opposite of what they teach us. Anyway, that's just an aside. But the globe thing or the flat earth thing is an example, right, of how they get you. Like, honestly, no attachments. And the least attachments you have in terms of the outcome, the easier life is, right? You control what you can and you leave the rest to God. I feel like I'm rambling. Long story short, family, you can't pay attention to what's going on out here because it's all meant to sway your emotions, right? And I even have to say this. Sometimes I wonder if these negative events that happen really even happen, right? If these suicides and these celebrity deaths and this and this, that actually really happen, you know, or whether or not these people just go off to live somewhere else and take on a new identity. Like, you see what I'm saying, family? That's what I'm saying, because it's the world is a stage. Shakespeare said it. And I'm starting to believe that almost everything that's put out there is put out there for a purpose to elicit a certain reaction from the public. So what I do is I let it go in one ear and let it pass out the next, and don't study nothing, really, okay? And I guess it might, it's probably easier said than done, but it's so possible, right? And one of the ways you can do it is to get out in nature every day. I'm going to plug it every time, family, because it's really centering activity, right? We got to ground ourselves in this crazy place. If we don't do intentional practices to ground ourselves, we're going to be swept up in the madness, huh? All right. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this message, family. I love and I value each and every one of you. One love.